Alright, we're back. Last time we what do you call it? Dealt with the attack on Pagelthan, and then Ehrenwald was injured and Alphino is not taking it well. So now we're gonna see what is going on next. Right then, unless anyone has any objections, I think it's about time we return to the Rising Stones. And that includes you, Alphino. Ehrenwald is in good hands here. Of course, he would doubtless mock me for pacing about the infirmary. Let us retire then, that we might regain our strength and readiness for the coming challenges. If all are in agreement then, I shall let Kryl know to expect us. A hot bath and a hearty meal shouldn't be beyond arranging while the time is available, with the time available. It will be good to be home. I have some thinking to do. Yes, I'll try asking him, and thank you, I shall look forward to it. Our comrades eagerly await our return. Kryl, in particular, has a few matters she is keen to discuss, one of which concerns you, Astidian. Believe it or not, you will join us, won't you? Fine. Really? I thought you said you were avoiding that Beldessian woman. If I refused, she would only pursue me. Let's get this over with, shall we? Alright, to the Rising Stones. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but Sophie and Radovan here are part of the Gunbreaker questline. Also standing over here is Arya, who is part of the Red Mage questline. Okay. Here's the Pokemon. He's using the Play Dead emote.
Welcome back. I expect you must all be exhausted. Ere you take your rest, however, I would beg a moment of your time.
Okay.
Thanks to Ehrenwald's selfless efforts, we may now be confident that we understand the function of the towers. But many questions remain regarding the reason for the summonings, and what lurks behind the looming edifice in Garlemald. Until such questions are answered, we will struggle to devise an effective strategy for thwarting the Telophoroi's stated aim. Nothing less than the destruction of this star. And so, given the gravity of the situation, I move that we petition the aid of Sharlayan.
Oh?
'Tis possible the ancient knowledge preserved within our archives may hide a clue to our enemy's methods. But given Sharlayan's established policy of non-intervention, our former colleagues are not like to aid us in its discovery.
Oh, I well remember what they're like. The Forum's barefaced refusal to assist you in the days prior to the calamity must rank as Sharlayan's most shameful act since the Exodus. But were the final days to be reenacted, it would spell doom for us all. Surely even they cannot turn a blind eye to that. I trust we are all of the same mind on this matter. Urgent as it seemed, I took the liberty of petitioning the Alliance for leave to act as Eorzea's emissary, and have since received their blessing.
I presume your role as a student of Baldessian will carry some weight with the Forum?
One can but hope. If truth be told, our organization has been a shadow of its former self ever since the disappearance of the Isle of Val. But the name does still retain some degree of prestige. I only pray it will be enough. If there are no objections, I shall depart for Sharlayan at once. But before I do, I should also mention the other matter to which I would devote some time during my stay. After hearing what transpired in the first, I began to question the true nature of Hydaelyn's blessing. A topic I have discussed at some length with Y'shtola.
We were wondering, when was the last time Hydaelyn spoke to you directly?
Oh, it's been a while. Near the end of the Dragonsong War.
When you regained her blessing, was it not? But never since. Not in all your time in the First, when you faced the Unsundered, the very heart of Zodiark.
History shows us that Hydaelyn is able to awaken the Echo in her Chosen, convey her will directly, and grant the blessing of light. To our knowledge, however, she has not sought to intervene in man's affairs for some considerable time.
Might not the explanation for that lie with her choice of champion? Mayhap she is content to trust in her judgment.
Thanks, Urianger.
Mayhap she is. But following my initial discussion with Kryl, I made inquiries of my own. And as far as I am able to tell, Hydaelyn has not made her will known to anyone.
During my time in the First, the Oracle of Light spoke to me through Reen. But that was not the will of Hydaelyn. It was Minfilia herself.
Indeed. And while she and Hydaelyn were inextricably linked, Minfilia yet acted of her own volition. A messenger, yes, but one who spoke with her own voice.
I wonder, could Hydaelyn's silence suggest the presence of some disruptive force, perhaps? Some obstacle to communication? While I share Urianger's high opinion of your conduct, I see no reason why she would deny you her guidance altogether. Then again, who am I to say? The fact is, we simply don't know. But if the explanation is to be found anywhere, I can think of worse places to look than the archives of Sharlayan, and their research on the Ethereal Sea in particular. Resolved though I am to go, believe me when I say that I take no pleasure in the thought of leaving you a member short. Now, of all times. Estinian, we stand on the eve of a struggle that will decide the fate of this star. One in which we Scions may play a telling part, yet we are but few in number. And so I must ask you again, will you join us?
You see the world the way you want it to be. I see the world the way it is. You are idealistic to a fault. But I know you would never turn your back on those in need. Never close your eyes to their suffering. And Somehow, your deeds lend truth to your words, giving the lie to my doubts in so doing. I have seen others draw strength from your belief. In Ishgard, in Alamigo, you inspired them to stand up and fight. To win, no less. And even when you lost those you held dear, you carried their spirit with you and made their memory your guiding light. The burden of so many hopes and dreams would be too heavy for most to bear. But you bear it willingly, as you have shown me. Some dreams are too important to let go. If you have need of my strength, it's yours. After all you've done, how could I refuse?
Thank you, Estinian. Whatever challenges await us, I shall not falter. You have my word.
And now, I may bid you farewell. Safe in the knowledge that all is as it should be. In this little corner of the world, at least.
You will be sorely missed. Tread warily in Sharlayan, and do try not to let the Forum embroil you in their politics. A forlorn hope, I know, given the individuals involved.
I shall do my very best. Farewell.
So Estinian's a scion now. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace. Just a whole bunch of weapons jammed into the floor. I have that one on my Dark Knight.
Well, does this one meet with your approval? Apparently not. Or could it be that you're still upset about the dragons?
You are unwise to remind me of so costly a failure. It will not affect our plans, I trust.
Oh, hardly at all. Though, admittedly, the chances of us being able to procure any more Mericidian dragons are rather slimmer following Tiamat's reappearance. Oh, but the seeds have been sown, my lord. We have only to wait for them to quicken. Speaking of preparations, is it safe to assume that you will be ready to control you-know-what?
The hour draws nigh. This nation, forged for Ascian ends, will finally prove its worth.
A mighty empire, now no more than an instrument of this star's destruction. What a pleasure it will be to put it to use. Which brings me back to our earlier topic. My lord, while I appreciate that it is not an easy decision, it really is past time you chose your weapon.
There is one that I have been meaning to test.
Well, well, Not quite what I was expecting, though I will say, it does seem rather apt.
Of course, it's behind a pillar, so we can't see it yet. Tataru. Well, it looks like I'm going to have a busy few moons. Not that they ever seem to be anything but. Tancred's got me dispatching troops to every corner of the realm, which is not to say I don't trust the Alliance, because I do, but when it comes to putting down primals, nobody does it better than us. Well, than you lot, more accurately. You won't catch me trading blows with the primal in the near future. But for every fell fiend you vanquish, there's countless meals to arrange, baths to fill, sheets to wash, stores to replenish, and the list goes on. Which is where I come in, and gladly, mind you. It's the least I can do to support the scions who risk life and limb, like poor Ehrenwald. I wish there was something we could do for him, but we'll just have to settle for saying the odd prayer and keeping a roof over our heads. It wouldn't do to have him come back to a complete shambles, now would it? But that's enough of my rambling. Off you go and get some rest. If there are any developments, I promise you'll be the first to know. Alize, the company we keep. Ah, Asuka, you're looking well. I take it you managed to squeeze in some rest. If you came hoping for tidings from Kryl, I'm afraid we're still waiting, but we do have some odd scraps of news to share. Scraps, she says. Lunar primals have been popping up all over the place, but the Alliance has the situation well in hand, thanks in no small part to Hoary Boulder and the others. Meanwhile, talks with the beast tribes are going even better than expected. Encouraged by Ulda's progress with the Amalja, Gridania has opened negotiations with the Ixal, believe it or not. All of which is obviously very encouraging, but with the Telophoroi still out there, it's not as if we can afford to lower our guard. Begging your pardon, I come bearing an invitation from the Alliance. A council meeting is due to be held in Alamigo. Your attendance is humbly requested. Ah, we were just talking about the Alliance. May I ask what's on the agenda? I believe the intention is to share news of recent developments and discuss what measures might be taken to combat the Telophoroi, in concert with our new allies. The beast tribes have also been invited. It is hoped that they will join us in the fight against our common foe. So, the Alliance would bring all of the beast tribes into the fold at a single stroke. An ambitious plan given the delicacy of the negotiations, but may have an expedient one, considering the threat we face. Indeed, my lady. And for their part, I am told the beast tribes have agreed to attend. The scions, too, are present. All of Eorzea will be represented. To arrange such a meeting must have been quite an undertaking, not only diplomatically, but practically. Pray inform the Alliance that we would be honored to participate. We shall make for Alamigo without delay. Then I will bear your answer thither with all haste. We look forward to receiving you at the Royal Palace. Well, now that we've accepted the invitation, who exactly is going to attend? I move that you and Y'shtola lead our contingent. Given how long you've worked into and summoning, it's only right that you be present for what promises to be an historic moment. I think we all played our part in that little endeavor, don't you, Oscar? All present may rightly claim a seat. I do quite agree. But by your leave, I believe I shall remain here and lend what assistance I can to the coordination of our defensive efforts. I'm not coming either. Emmerich will be there, and I'd rather not be interrogated. Very well then. While those with a mind to hold the fort get on with holding it, I suggest the rest of us make for Alamigo, shall we? Ba-ba-ba. Oh, Tataru waved. To the Alamigan Quarter. Then to the palace. Oh, the Yatsuyu dog. Alright. In we go. Oh, Hien's here. Frixio. Looks like just about all the beast tribes are present.
Esteemed guests, you honor us with your presence. As there is much to discuss, let us begin.
Information on our taken brethren you have, yes? Hear it we would!
Okay, looks like Kani Senna is relaying that information.
Ah! Beyond forgiveness these featherless ones are! With rivers of blood shall they pay! Freed our people must be!
We too would see your kin liberated. But ere we attempt their rescue, we must first find a means to negate the risk of tempering. Without that, we will be unable even to approach the towers, let alone contend with their defenders.
If all else fails, I've always found cannonballs quite effective.
And what of the prisoners? Would you see them slaughtered?
Think for a moment. Ponder, consider, think. If Merlwyb truly intended to bombard the towers, she would have done so by now. Remember, we came here to find a solution together, did we not?
Y'Stola spoke of defenders. I but offered a means to clear a path, should you require it.
Given the enemy's capabilities, we will all need to play our part if we are to have any chance of success. For if any here should give less than their best, it will be to the cost of every living being on this star.
A paragon, the Empire, our very gods. How can we hope to prevail against such odds?
That our foe is formidable, none would deny. But our strengths are many and varied. In this chamber, I see masters of strategy, masters of magic, masters of the land, the air, and the sea. And together, there is nothing in creation we cannot overcome. I beg your pardon?
What is it, Soul Walker? Do not express your passion thus. A little tricky without deals, perhaps? Suffice it to say, I am proud to be counted amongst Eorzea's finest. We Sahagin will play our part.
We kobolds have not forgotten the crimes the Overdwellers committed against us in the past. But today we look to the future, as allies united in purpose.
the Ixal the Paragon does. Turns kin into puppets, pits brother against brother. Free them from his grasp, we shall.
As Patriarch Zadar will attest, the Scions have granted us a means to free your brethren from their thraldom. This boon we will gladly share, that your people might never be enslaved again.
We accept! We accept!
Praise me!
Sorry about the sniffles. Better not collapse.
It's taken a
under that
while,
chair.
but I do believe we might be one step closer to a world without primals. Would that Minfilia were here to see it.
We still have a long way to go, and we're going to need a lot more Porksies. But we're moving in the right direction.
If I may have your attention, there is one other point I would like to raise. As we can all agree, freeing those held captive must take precedence over every other concern. But experience has taught us that none save those with the capacity to resist tempering can hope to enter the towers unscathed. And even once inside, a still greater threat may yet await them, that which we call a primal. Needless to say, if we are to succeed, engaging with such foes can only ever be considered a last resort. And so I move that we seek to prevent them from being summoned in the first place.
Yes! Both prayer and ether are needed for the ritual. Should either one be denied, the summoning would fail.
Indeed. And so we must endeavor to discover the source of the ether on which the process depends. Do so, and it may present a way to halt the summonings, or perhaps even neutralize the towers entirely.
Oh.
A promising proposal. While you are conducting your investigations, however, we will need to remain vigilant, lest the Telophoroi commit further abductions and summon primals ere we have the means to prevent them. To stand a better chance of keeping our enemy at bay, we would do well to coordinate our defensive efforts, sending reinforcements to assist our neighbors when needed.
We Amalja would have been overwhelmed were it not for our newfound allies. But say the word, and we shall come.
I see we are all in accord. But what are we to call this proud fellowship of ours? I submit that the honor of naming it should go to the scion whose brave efforts have done so much to unite Eorzea. What say you, my friend?
We'll call it the Grand Company of Eorzea, which is what Alphino wanted to do way back when he founded the Crystal Braves.
But that's the name I...
A fine choice, for there is none here who does not love Eorzea.
Aye, in that we shall ever be united.
United in our gratitude for the realm that gave us life.
Then let it be recorded that on this day, the Grand Company of Eorzea was born.
How long have we dreamed of this moment? And now that it's here, Oh, forgive me. Might we speak outside?
Okay. Alphino. Well, now that we are out of earshot of the other delegates, I hope you will forgive me if I speak my mind. Let me begin by saying that I have dreamed of this day, since the moment I first set foot upon these shores, and that I was as heartened as anyone to see the peoples of Eorzea pledge their solidarity. Yet even as they uttered the declarations, all I could think about was the conflict to come, and the sacrifices that would be made, and the lives lost, inevitabilities that I still struggle to accept. But at least now there is hope. The formation of the Grand Company of Eorzea is the first step, the first of many. Many and more, says someone from off-screen. Oh, Kane Senna. Elder Seedseer, how might we be of service? I seek Master Alphino's assistance in a matter involving Gridania's neighbors, the Sylphs. That's not her voice. I know that you and yours have long kept a weather eye upon the crystal trade, the better to predict the coming of primals, and so you will be familiar with the Sylphs of the Ashcrown Consortium. Through their dealings, they have cultivated relations not only with the city-states, but many other communities besides. Communities such as the Beast Tribes. Just so, it is our hope that we may make use of the Sylphs' established lines of communication to coordinate the efforts of our new fellowship. Yet there remain certain practical differences between a trade consortium and a grand company. If the Sylphs are to perform their task effectively, they will require the counsel of one versed in the operational aspects of an armed force. An armed force founded with the self-same goal in mind, no less. The Crystal Braves, yes. Forgive me, Master Alphino. I know that it was a painful chapter in your life, but the experience may yet be made to serve the realm. In my hubris, I plotted a course for the Crystal Braves that stretched far beyond the Order's initial conception. One intended to pave the way for the founding of what I intended to call the Grand Company of Eorzea. But my plans all came to naught. Built upon a frail foundation of lofty ideals, the Order was doomed from the first to collapse under the weight of more worldly interests. But I have no wish to see this new endeavor suffer the same fate. Mayhap I ask too much of you? Not at all. You may count upon my assistance for what little it is worth. By your leave, I shall prepare a report, including a list of recommendations drawing on the lessons I learned from the failures of the Crystal Braves. You have my gratitude, Master Alphino, and my trust. When your report is ready, pray share it directly with the Sylphs. With your guidance and the earnest efforts of every goodly soul gathered here this day, I have no doubt but that our fellowship shall emerge from the shadow of the Telophoroi and flourish. Until next we meet, my friends. Before committing anything to writing, there are a number of people whose thoughts I should like to hear. Former Braves, you understand. Might you join me in seeking them out? Okay. As if you have to ask. Thank you. As someone who witnessed the Order's rise and fall, yours would be a reassuring presence. I'll join you if you're planning to canvass the opinions of your former comrades. It will be a lot quicker if we share the task of questioning them. Then mayhap Graha can lend a hand as well. I shall accompany Thancred back to the Rising Stones. Between us, I dare say we should be able to provide an accurate enough account of today's events. We should be glad of your company, Graha. I shall explain the details on the way. Alize. So, what's the plan, brother mine? Before discussing the task at hand, I should probably admit that the report I proposed is largely written. Not long after that fateful day in Uldar, I penned a detailed account of the organization's history, from the events that led to its inception to the failings that brought about its demise. This I did primarily as a means of taking some semblance of responsibility. Never did I imagine that it might later be referred to by those seeking to form a similar organization. And while I made every attempt to be objective, the account was mine alone. Its events viewed from my singular perspective. For it to be of use, however, it must be broadened to encompass the viewpoints of all involved. Only then can it answer what seems to me to be the crucial question. Namely, why, after the Crystal Braves disbanded, did some members choose to remain with us, while others did not? I see. You think the answer will tell us something about the nature of the ties that bind our new Grand Company together, and that this knowledge might help us to prevent it from falling apart when those bonds are inevitably tested. That is my hope, yes, but the questions I would ask are uncomfortable to some. As the former commander of the Crystal Braves, I doubt that those who abandon the cause would welcome my inquiries. Then Graha and I will just have to try. Meanwhile, the two of you can talk to the ones who kept the faith. A fine suggestion. Have care, however. Certain of my former comrades are of questionable character. So keep your wits about you, and let us reconvene in Gridania later on. Okay. If you have no objections, I've a mind to begin by speaking with Riol and Alian. If memory serves, the two of them will be attending an intelligence briefing in Castrum Oriens. Let us seek them out there. Okay. Castrum Oriens is over here. Dun, dun. Real. Well, look who it is. And what brings you two here? Wouldn't have anything to do with the big meeting, would it? In a manner of speaking, I have been assigned a task, you see, for which I require the assistance of former members of the Crystal Braves. So you want to know why we decided to stick with the Scions, eh? Ain't an easy thing to put in words, that. As I once explained to Oscar, I spent a long time agonizing over my failure to alert you to the traitors in our midst. For my negligence, I was captured along with many others, and we were powerless to prevent the tragedies that ensued. Not to take us by that I do not think back to those fateful events. By joining the Scions, I hoped to redeem myself, and I will continue to serve the cause for as long as I am able. But that wasn't my only reason. When we were finally reunited at the Rising Stones, you refused to blame anyone but yourself for the fall of the Crystal Braves. And in spite of everything that had happened, everything you had suffered, you took us back without a moment's hesitation. We would not have blamed you had you turned us away, but when you gave us your trust instead, what else could we do but try to repay it? Nothing, that's what. As for me own tale, well, I've always felt the Scions have something in common with me old crew. The duty of the strong is to protect the weak. That was our creed, and I still live by it to this day. That's right, he was a member of the Company of Heroes. But as time's gone on, I've learned that strength comes in many shapes and sizes. From Hoary Boulder to Mistress Tataru, we've all of us got something to offer. And not one of us is doing it for personal gain, because we believe there's more important things than that, things worth protecting, which is what being a Scion's all about. I'm at a loss for words. Thank you, my friends. To hear this from you means more than you know. Forgive me, Oscar. Could you... give us your thoughts on the Crystal Braves? Well, its founding ideals were something to be proud of, but ideals alone don't make a crew. For every swab who signed up with good intentions, there was another who was only in it for coin, the glory, or both. Ours was quite a disparate band, and while I will never forgive Ilberd, the fact that we managed to function at all was thanks in large part to his efforts. Just a pity he was doing it for the wrong reasons, eh? Only takes one bad apple, they say, and the Braves had a barrel full of them. Not like the Scions. We might look like a ragtag band of misfits, but deep down, we've all got that shared sense of purpose. And why? Because Tataru sifted out all the glory hunters before they made it through the door. I see. So while our ranks comprise a diverse range of people, each with their own individual strengths, we're all united in purpose. Thank you, my friends. With your permission, I shall make a record of our discussion, and refer to it when drafting my recommendations. Until we meet again. Okay. On official business. Well, I think we have taken up enough of our colleagues' time, and I am conscious that less life-affirming testimonies wait. Let us make our way to Gridania and hear what the others have learned. To Gridania. Looks like they're over at the Lancers Guild. Yep, I was right. Hello. Thanks to Tataru's ever-dependable intelligence, we managed to track down a handful of former Braves without any great difficulty. Some were forthright, others less so, but we heard enough to form a picture. I must warn you, Alphino, some of their comments were harsh. I can well imagine, but their opinions are no less vital to my report. I seek the unvarnished truth. Thank you. I will set about adding your findings to my own at once. In the meantime, pray go on ahead to Little Solace and seek out Elder Crixio. I will join you anon. Okay. Been a while since we talked to Frixio. Hey, Frixio. Ah, welcome, Brave One and friends of Brave One. How good it is to see walking ones again so soon after the meeting. It's been a while since last we spoke. Indeed it has. Though the palace was very pretty, the meeting was far too noisy for this one. So many shouting ones and squawking ones and cheering ones, with no chance for carefree conversation. Still, this one is pleased all ones can be friends. Horned one, Kane Senna, said that walking ones would be coming to Little Solace. Imperial ones also invaded Sylphlands and abducted many of these ones, so these ones will be glad to bear messages between fighting friendly ones. That is heartening to hear, Elder. It will require all ones to work in unison to stop the Telophoroi. These ones will try very hard, of course, but in matters of war, these ones have little experience. Any advice walking ones can provide would be most welcome. Oh, another pretty silver-haired one, and in quite a hurry, it seems. Alice, you must come quickly. Whatever's the matter, Alphino? Don't tell me you couldn't read my handwriting. What? No. The Twin Adder officer accosted me as I was about to set out. Charlian sent an envoy who's due to arrive in Gridania at any moment. An envoy? Could it be the Kryl has managed to sway the Forum? We shall know soon enough. If there is more, the envoy has requested that the two of us attend the audience with the Elder Seer. Really? I can see why they might want Scions to be present. But us specifically? Wait, it isn't who I think it is. It is. I could scarcely believe it myself. But when I inquired as to the envoy's identity, I was told that it was one Fulchino Levier. Your father? Well now, the fact that a serving member of the Forum had journeyed here would be surprise enough. But him? Quite. I glean from this that they are taking the matter seriously. That may be, but why him, and not one of the other 98 Forum members, unless he volunteered for it? It has been some time since you last saw your father, has it not? Could it be that he is concerned for your well-being? Perhaps, but he has always been reluctant to discuss his workings. Indeed, and whenever we write to our parents, it is inevitably our mother who replies. Nevertheless, I welcome the opportunity to meet with him after so long, even if it is secondary to his true purpose here. Elder Frixio, though I am to cut our visit short, we must return to Gridania. Pray accept my apologies, along with my report. Never mind, there will be time to talk later. This one won't keep walking ones from more urgent matters. Go. The audience will be held at the Lotus Stand, where the Elder Seedseer awaits even now. Let us be on our way. Alright, back to Gridania. Yes, please, let us in. My friends, I thank you all for coming so swiftly. Word of Master Fulchino's visit took us quite by surprise. When the Alliance granted Mistress Cryle permission to request Charlene's aid, we did not anticipate so prompt a reply, much less that it would be delivered by a member of the Forum. What the nature of that reply may be, we shall soon discover.
Elder Seedseer, I thank you for granting me this audience. I am Fulchino Levier, here in my capacity as representative of the Forum.
It is I who should thank you, Master Fulchino, for journeying so far and so swiftly. Would that our first meeting could have been under happier circumstances.
It has been too long, Father. You look well.
As do you both. Ameliance will be glad to hear that you are taking care of yourselves.
How is Mother?
She misses you terribly, of course, but is otherwise a picture of health. Circumstances apart, I'm grateful that our meeting has afforded me the chance to be reunited with my children at long last. And I believe I also owe you thanks for the hospitality you showed my father, Louisoix, during his sojourn in Eorzea.
All thanks we owe to him. In the days prior to the 7th Umbral Calamity, it was your father's tireless efforts which granted us a means to vanquish the Primals. Were it not for him, our strength would have been quite spent by the time the Empire arrived. That Gridania still stands is in large part his achievement. He was a great man.
He would doubtless have been moved to hear you say so. I must confess, however, that I opposed his decision to intervene. And my position remains unchanged.
To chart the course of history, not to change it. I am familiar with the Sharlayan stance.
It is more than that. It is our way of life, who we are. But I came here not to deliver a lecture, but the Forum's answer to your request. Sharlayan will under no circumstances intervene in the conflict between Eorzea and the Garlean Empire.
Of course not.
May I ask for what reason the Forum has come to this decision? The final days spell the end not only for Eorzea, but the entire world.
The final days? Pray spare me your hyperbole. This conflict is no more than the latest in a series of petty squabbles between yourselves and Garlemald, one in which Sharlayan will take no part. If the final days were truly upon us, we would know.
Father, you must ask the Forum to reconsider. You may feel safe on your little island across the waves. But if you imagine the Telophoroi will leave you be, you are mistaken. They mean to kill us all, themselves included.
Alphino is right. We have seen what the enemy is capable of, the lengths to which they'll go. This is no time to turn a blind eye. If Eorzea falls, so too will Sharlayan. So if you truly love our homeland, you will join us. Now, before it's too late.
I thought you knew better than to raise your voice to your elders. It seems I was wrong. Wrong to ever let you leave, Sharlayan. I consoled myself that your time abroad would instill in you some hint of restraint, of discipline. But I see now that Eorzea has made fools of you both. Have you forgotten why it was that I so vehemently opposed your grandfather's departure? For all his wisdom, his only solution was to go to war. Death, devastation, ruin. Even those who claim victory are scarred for life. What prize could ever justify such sacrifice? It is the duty of the learned to avert such tragedy. By fanning the flames of war, you forsake all you once held dear.
I'm going to quote Louis Soir Adam. To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. Quote his father.
I see your friend shares your misguided ideals. But unlike her, you should know better. By espousing such barbaric notions, you subvert the teachings of Sharlayan and place all we have worked for in jeopardy. Alphino, Alisaie, as of this moment, you shall no longer bear the name of Leveilleur.
What?
What?
Father.
How you choose to live your lives is no longer my concern. If you wish to walk the path of ruin, I will not stand in your way.
Master Fourcheneau, while Sharlayan may have no intention of intervening in this conflict, we can still part as friends. Will you not stay and speak with us, that we might learn of Sharlayan's hopes for the morrow?
I have said what I came here to say. Any further discussion would be meaningless.
Father, wait!
Don't bother, Alisaie!
Oh.
How can you stand there and watch him walk away? How can you let this happen?
That's rough. So that's what he came here to say. That we're all fools for having the temerity to defend ourselves against the Telophoroi. And as for the rest, like it or not, this was the Forum's decision. To watch from afar while Eorzea burns. Father was but the messenger, and as he handed down their judgment, I could think of nothing to say that could possibly sway him. I still can't. To have prolonged the discussion would have changed little, for it is not only Master Fortuno who must be persuaded, but the Forum as a whole. Their decision was made ere your father crossed the sea. Nor is it like to be changed, and so we shall face the Telophoroi without their aid. Forgive me, but if they had no intention of helping us, then why would they go to the trouble of sending an envoy in the first place? Why did they not simply keep their counsel as they are wont to do? Oscar, has Master Fortuno arrived yet? Asked Cryle. Then it is as I feared. My efforts were in vain. I pleaded our case to as many Forum members as I could, but they flatly refused to discuss the matter. No, that's not exactly true. I should rather say that they ignored every word I said on the subject, without exception. It was almost unnerving. Could it be that they are hiding something from us, that might go some way to explain Master Fortuno's performance? When he said that they would know if the final days were truly upon us, I dismissed it as pride. But what if they genuinely believe that they know how the world will end, and simply disagree with us about the circumstances? That I don't know, but something tells me they are not as unconcerned about the Telophoroi as they claim. If the threat weren't real, why else would they be so standoffish and secretive? I would very much like to delve deeper into this, but I'm afraid I've exhausted every avenue of inquiry. Nor have I fared any better with my other mission, researching Hydaelyn and the Ethereal Sea. I tried enlisting the help of experts in the field, but it appears the Forum has forbidden anyone from cooperating with us. Obstructed at every turn. So it would seem. But don't lose heart just yet. With all the knowledge and acquaintances we have between us, we can still find a way forward. To that end, I would like you all to join me here, when the time is right, of course. I'm aware that matters in Eorzea stand on a knife edge. But with your permission, I can at least start making the necessary arrangements. Please do. Excellent. Obviously, keeping the Telophoroi at bay must take precedence, but with luck, you'll be able to make the journey to Sharlayan ere long. It may take a while to secure entry for you all, but I'll let you know when everything is in order. Look after yourselves in the meantime, won't you? Your speculations give me cause to hope. Yet if these seeds will bear fruit, I cannot say. While it is possible the Sharlayans hide some secret truth from us, there can be no certainty that its exposure will prompt them to prompt in them a change of heart. Ugh. And so, for the present, we must needs confront the plight in which we find ourselves. The Forum has refused our quest for aid, and falls to us alone to contend with the Telophoroi. Even with all of Eorzea standing united, there is no guarantee that we will prevail. What does Sharlayan intend to do if we fail? Let's see. Yeah, that's a good time to stop this video, and then we'll pick it back up in the next one.